now.
Can't understand where he's got to.
No. No, darling.
Oh, come on, Esther, just one more.
No, I promised Richard I wouldn't be late.
And who is Richard?
A friend.
Well, I'm going to have another one. By the time you finish it, he'll be back. Look, I know he wanted to see you. He said most particularly he'd be coming home tonight. If you leave now, you'll miss him just by a few minutes.
All right. Are you quite crazy?
What does that mean?
Roughly analyzed, it means, are you off your silly head? Thank you.
Oh, is that what it means?
Oh, darling.
She is.
You are crazy.
You've obviously been thinking about it.
Maybe the gin, but I'm going to be blunt.
Oh, Esther, please don't.
And if I'm going to be blunt, do you mind if we have that thing off?
All right. Oh, go on.
Why? In God's name, just tell me why.
Why? What?
You're an attractive woman. You're a very attractive woman. You have money of your own. You're intelligent. I know damn well you're intelligent. When did you last go to an art gallery? A small, interesting art gallery, not the Royal Academy summer exhibition rubbish.
6 months ago.
When did you last go to a theater?
3 months ago.
With John?
Oh, I can't remember.
You are crazy.
Look, Esther, please
Why
don't.
in God's name don't you leave him?
Look, Esther, I don't think this is a matter that I'm
Darling, I've
prepared...
known you since you were 18. I know the things you wanted when you were 18. How many of them have you got?
Esther, that's ridiculous. How many has anybody got? Anyway, I've only had one husband. You've had 3.
That only shows you've been underprivileged. Are you really prepared to spend the rest of your life like this?
Like what?
Darling, when you were 18, you told me you wanted to marry a man who was intellectually your superior and who wanted to leave some small part of the world different from how he found it.
Well, John
His hair fell forward over his eyes and who had crinkled and bewildered eyes like Henry Fonda, who was creative, gentle, fond of children, sexy, and 6'10".
How absurd.
And you said if he had all that, it wouldn't matter if he was rich or not.
Well, I was probably wrong. It probably does.
What, when you've got all the money you need of your own? Now, I'll bet you've only had that one affair in the whole of your married life.
Oh, you know about that, do you?
I just can't imagine how you can find marriage supportable.
You know about
when you
that.
have only one affair. And how many years is it?
Oh, Esther. No, there's one thing I've learned. Men who are one's intellectual superiors soon get tired of having to slow down to speak to one.
Nonsense, darling. Most intellectual men would rather romp about in a comfortable mattress than talk about practically anything.
I gather you're speaking from years of experience. Who is this Richard, anyway?
Oh, darling, you must meet him. He's super. He's a salesman for one of the dress houses. Well, more than a salesman, really. Of course, he's a bit younger than I am. He's terribly sympathetic, you know what I mean. Anyway, darling, you must come and meet him sometime. You'll adore him.
What could I do, Esther? What could I actually do?
For heaven's sake, darling, what sort of a problem is that? You've got money? What couldn't you do?
Well, I can't sit around all day reading bank statements.
Well, open a boutique like me, or you're interested in art, find some young man and open an art gallery. My dear girl, in your position, most wives believe in their husbands like a busy day at Cape Kennedy.
Esther, what's it like? What's it actually like? Couple of days after you leave your husband, what's it like?
Are you mad? For God's sake, darling, the world's your oyster.
I thought you were coming home early tonight.
Huh?
I thought you were coming home early.
Oh.
Esther was here. Hoping to see you.
What?
At least when my friends come, you might spare me the embarrassment of having them know damn well that it's possible you'll be out all night.
What are you talking about now?
Well, it's quite obvious that I don't know whether you will be or not.
Haven't you noticed that I have come home?
You knew Esther was coming.
Oh, God almighty, was she?
You knew, John.
I knew, all right. I forgot. Something else came up and I forgot.
What came up?
Well, you're obviously in no mood to believe me, whether I tell you the truth now or a pack of lies.
No, I don't think I am. I don't think I'm in a mood either to believe you or even to be bothered to want to believe you.
And what am I to understand by that?
What do you think you want to understand by that?
I see.
I thought Susan Weldon had found herself another man.
Is that so?
As what, sir?
Is it so that you understand that Susan Weldon has found herself another man?
As far as my life is concerned, I don't see that I've got very much to choose between your business life and your sex life. In either case, I get left out of it, don't I?
All right. Which do you want to take part in?
Well, to be quite frank, neither.
What are you going on about, then? You don't take part in either, do you?
No, I don't. Do I?
Well? Excellent. Good.
You know, I heard the most extraordinary thing this morning. I was talking to Esther Kell.
Oh, no. Who?
Friend of mine, girl called Esther. Well, she isn't exactly a girl.
No,
but
married
anyway,
three times, divorced 3 times.
You're certainly not a girl by now.
Anyway,
Almost anything Esther says is gossip, so don't
you
take
did
any
frighteningly
notice.
accurate.
No.
Anyway, I'm quite sure you don't want to interrupt.
No. What did she say?
That Pamela Wilder's going to leave, John.
We should have done that long ago. She was actually going to.
No, she's
Where did she hear this?
talking to Pamela.
Well, and Pamela told her.
Yes.
Well, she knows as well as we do that Esther can't keep a secret from her.
Darling, she swears she'll be gone by the end of the month. Well, I don't know if Pamela actually said so in so many words, but she certainly made...
Wilders have been off and on and off since the beginning of history.
And Esther says that Pamela's just about come to the end of her tether. She's not prepared to go on.
Well, I'm surprised that she'd been prepared to go on for so long. What would you do if your husband ran 2 establishments and used your money to sustain his ambition, which in turn helped him to sustain his 2nd establishment?
I'd leave him,
Exactly.
taking my money with me.
Yes. That's quite a point.
No, she won't leave him. She's left it too late. What on earth would she do with herself?
I know what you're thinking. That took me 7 days or a week to complete. Excuse me, Edmund. Excuse me, has anyone given you a drink?
Oh, no, they hadn't. Thank you very much.
You're doing it all wrong, aren't you?
What am I doing all wrong?
What are you, a viewer or a lover?
Well, now, that's a very interesting question, isn't it? It contains all the available choices.
In what way?
Well, attached or participant?
Ah, and which would you rather be?
Participant. What am I doing all wrong?
Look at them. Almost all of them are standing with their backs to the pictures. They're telling each other how lovely they are and how cleverly their minds work. Later on, they'll buy a painting because they love art and hope to God the value goes up. But you see, you're actually looking at the pictures.
Well, I think they're very good.
Thank you.
Did you paint them?
Yes?
Well, then you're very good.
Yes, that's true. If I said I was good at taking the back off sticking plaster, you'd accept it. But because I say I'm good at something I spend my whole life doing, you laugh.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I don't know why I did that.
Yes, you do. Because it's much more difficult than taking the back off sticking plaster. And in the end, you're not likely to be all that good at it, are you? Are you actually going to buy one of my paintings?
I might.
Are you rich?
Why?
Because they're expensive.
Yes, I've noticed that.
Tell me, why are you walking round here on your own, strange lady? Beautifully dressed, able to afford any picture you look at, actually appreciating them? Not chatting away drearily like these Doomsville culture hounds, and far more lovely than all these people who wants to know how terribly attractive they are, and what lovely little ways they've got in secret, and who in the end sound like a recipe for a catastrophe. Why?
What was the question?
You're tired of your friends who bore you, so you come out on your own, then you wonder why your friends don't come round as often as they did. Everything you want and nothing you need.
No, you sound like a 1930s song.
Know where you can't go, know where you want to go.
What do you think you call it? An old-fashioned waltz or a lady's excuse me?
And a rich husband who gives you all the money you want and very little else. Bingo.
No.
So you intend buying a picture?
I might.
Which one?
Well, I thought perhaps that one.
Very good. Very good. You obviously know a hawk from a handsaw.
It's too expensive, though.
Let me cook you dinner one night and we can discuss it.
You're chatting me up.
Of course.
Well, I might come and see some of your other pictures one night.
Splendid.
I might. Do you have a phone number?
Well, what's it all about?
Oh, I think he wants to sort out which of us is going to make an appearance at this conference of mighty civil engineers.
Well, it's only a matter of form, isn't it? I mean, why can't one of the junior people go?
Well, we have to make an appearance. Maybe he wants to sort out first if either of us want the day off. Your father's making a speech, isn't he?
Yes, I believe so.
And apparently John thinks that what Caswell has to say might be important. Something to do with overseas policy, isn't it?
Oh, I've no idea. He doesn't tell me those things.
Oh, I thought you might have saved it as a day's boredom. Anyway, John thinks that we're likely to be opposed to whatever it is, and he thinks that someone should be there to make sure that our position is heard. Funny if you had to throw snowballs at your father in public, wouldn't it?
I suppose that's just what John would like, isn't it? Is that what he's trying to arrange?
Oh, I've no idea. He doesn't tell me those things.
No. Well, he can count me out of that.
I should mention it to him. I get the feeling he's going to tell us who's going.
John?
Hmm?
So, is he likely to come back for a moment?
I don't think so. Why?
Have you, have you heard anything about John and Pamela?
Heard what, for instance?
No, I mean, well, you're friendly with both of them, and I wondered if you'd, you know, heard anything.
Not a sound. Why, have they been practicing the electric guitar in the early hours of the morning?
Now, look, for heaven's sake, John.
I'm sorry, I thought the neighbours might have been complaining. Why are you always so devious, Kenneth?
Well, I heard that Pamela was thinking of leaving John.
Nonsense.
Well, that's what I heard. From what could well turn out to be an informed source.
An informed source for the goose or an informed source for the gander?
For what?
Friend of whose?
Oh, Pamela's.
Nonsense.
Now, you see, if she did leave him, it would be reasonable to assume that she'd take her money with her. And in fact, it's that money which, as it were, supports John here as joint managing director. See? Without it, and the merchant bank where it's deposited behind him, he might find his position somewhat less tenable. Wouldn't you say that was possible?
An inducible proposition, yes.
So, that's...
What exactly are you outlining, Kenneth? A method for bringing the Ides of March back into their own again?
What do you mean by that?
And if we all put our knives into John at one at the same time, no one would know precisely who did it. Then you could do the, but as he was ambitious, I slew him speech.
While you do the I come to bury Caesar one, I suppose.
Well, I wasn't intending taking any active part in the thing.
Oh, neither was I. No, no, no. I mean, I happen to think it's not a bad thing for Blythe that Wilder's here. For a time, anyway. At least he's put us back in the race.
So, what were you suggesting?
Oh, well, I wasn't really suggesting anything. But if he's having family troubles, which might lead to further troubles here, I thought it would be as well if we prepared ourselves to back him up.
You were suggesting something.
Well, you're an old family friend, and I thought it might be a good idea if you could, you know...
Sniff around. Tell me again, did this, friend of yours think she really had made up her mind? I mean, actually to leave him? Not that I believe for a moment that she will.
Oh, no, nor do I. But from what I heard, and they seem to know what they were talking about, and I don't know if you saw the letter from their Paris office. Ah, John.
Oh, hello, John.
Pamela, how delightful to see you. Come and sit down.
Hello, Gordon. How are you?
Well, well enough. Mercifully, a banker's life isn't too strenuous. I let the younger-blooded Elbertsons do all the work now. And how are you?
Healthy?
What does that mean? Still busy being one of our leading political hostesses?
Not if I can help it.
Oh, dear.
As a matter of fact, I'm rather sick of being a political hostess. I decided I can't think of a more empty way of filling my life.
That sounds very revolutionary. Let me get you a glass of something. Sherry?
Thank you.
It is nice of you to drop in like this. It always cheers me up to see you. Were you shopping?
Well, as a matter of fact, Gordon, I didn't just drop in. I came on business.
Business? And I thought we were going to have a chat. What business?
Have a little sip of your drink first, Gordon. I've decided that I want to do something a little more intelligent with my money than just simply underwrite my husband's ambitions. I want to withdraw it.
Withdraw it? Yes. Yes, I see it.
Withdraw it?
Withdraw it.
And what do you imagine you're up to, eh?
So Gordon telephoned you.
Of course he telephoned me. He's in a terrible state.
And you said you'd come round and smooth me down, I suppose.
Now, look here.
Look at what? That you're so terrified that I'm taking my money out from under your feet, that you rush home about the only time you ever do rush home.
For God's sake, Pamela, this is a business matter. Why do you have to drag your stupid emotions in every time?
Why the hell do you think I'm taking my money out if it isn't because of emotions? Do you think they're any less important than money? Oh, God, John, I'm sick of you believing that the only real problems in the world are those to do with money.
Do you seriously intend?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Oh, for God's sake, can't you see why?
Just because we had a...
No! Not just because we had a silly row the other night. Not just because I hardly ever see you. Not just because the only time you ever do come home is when you want me to do something for you. Not
Do you realize the incredible trouble this is going to cause?
Yes, I do. I realize exactly what incredible trouble this is going to cause.
You couldn't do such a stupid thing.
Oh, couldn't I? I can do any stupid thing I like. As long as I am not responsible to anybody else.
For heaven's sake, you're responsible to...
To Gordon? Well, break him. To Blythe? Blythe is a joke. To you? Oh, John, I'm not responsible to you.
Please, explain to me exactly what you're up to.
John, I'm not up to anything. I'm just trying to make my life a little more tidy, that's all.
In what way?
In all ways. I've decided that I can't go on like this.
Does that mean that you're leaving?
I may do.
You have said that before.
I haven't said I will, I've said I may do.
Why? Why suddenly?
It's very simple, John. You neither love me nor want me. What brought you home just now was the money. Not me. Not to see how I was, what was troubling me. What brought you home just now was the money. No, John. Please don't touch me.
Let's forget about it. Let's go out and have a... We've talked it all out.
John, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being a possession of yours. Of never knowing where you are or who you're with. I'm sick of you coming home to me from some other woman's bed. I lie there, and I know where you've been. You stink of her scent. The smell of it's all over you. I lie there, and I say to myself, what am I for? What the bloody hell am I for?
We'll...
No. No, we won't. John, I don't think we ever will as long as we live.
You don't even know what I was going to say.
It doesn't matter what you were going to say.
We've got to talk about this seriously sometime. If it's only about the money.
Oh, John.
Oh, God, darling, don't I know? I know exactly. Didn't I have the same thing with Edward, day in, day out? I used to say to him, okay, so you love me. So you're sitting up in bed somewhere and you say to yourself, why am I here? I love my wife. Super, I used to say, super. So suddenly you love me. So what's in it for me? Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
There are men who are capable of making two women happy at the same time. They can be in love with both of them equally, and everybody's as happy as sandboys. I keep wondering what happened to them. Why did they disappear just when we needed them? So what are you going to do?
No idea.
Well, I'll tell you what you do first. You stop making a drama of it. Oh, God, when I think of some of the dramas I had. With my first husband, it took 6 months. 6 months. Oh, the passion. Am I, aren't I? Will I go? Shall I go? We used to sit down with a bottle and discuss it. For hours we'd discuss it. Life was too difficult for anybody to live, we used to say. When the stopper came off the scotch, I was going. By the time it was all gone, we were in tears. There was nobody else in the world. I love you. How can we live with anybody else? Let's go to bed and have a cigarette. And in the morning, I didn't know where I was. And if he came through that door now, I'd give him a drink and ask how his wife was and shoo him off the premises at the first hint of over-enthusiasm.
Oh, God, isn't it such a bore? I mean, who needs all the trouble of leaving a man? Such a ridiculously unnecessary thing to have to do.
That's the truth. And all that business about separating the property and finding somewhere to live and sitting on your own in a new place. Oh.
Oh, Esther, I'm too lazy. You know, I don't think I'm really cut out for leaving husbands. I think I'm more cut out for having a happy marriage.
Oh, darling, aren't we all? But will the baskets let us? That's just the trouble. They just won't let us. I mean, for heaven's sakes, what is a happy marriage? When did you last see one? So whatever became of the dodo, I sometimes ask myself.
Esther, what am I going to do?
Go. You go while the going's good.
I'm sorry my car's just arrived. I shall have to go. Goodbye.
Oh, I won't be a moment, but Pat wants me to tell Pamela something.
She's not there.
Oh, well, I'll leave a message with them.
She possibly won't get it. She hasn't been in all night. I don't know where the hell she's been. Do you know where the hell she's been?
Well,
there won't see much point in leaving a message, will there? Are you coming or aren't you?
So?
So, looks like Justine was right.
How do you know?
Henderson told me.
And how does he know?
Oh, now, how do you think he knows? He's known them for years.
Hmm. And why are you looking so disturbed? You're not going to be affected. It's not your wife who's left you.
What are you going to do?
Me? What do you think I'm going to do? If you think I'm going to see Pamela again and ask her to patch up her marriage for the sake of your firm, you're very much mistaken. This time they can bring John crashing down, yes. And you'll jump on his grave. Why on earth do you think I want to do that?
Well, because the time is right. See, John's built Blythe up since he arrived. He's got good contracts. He's underwritten all over the world. Now, if he were to go now, we'd have had the benefit of his being there, and we could build on it for a fairly cheap golden handshake.
It's rather a harsh and mercenary way of looking at it, Ken.
Well, I thought I'd better tell you that I won't be party to it, if you're looking for accomplices.
You know, you see things in such an Elizabethan way.
I've heard it said that power is a Dead Sea fruit. Oh, by the way, that speech you're making at the conference, Blythe are going to oppose it. Blythe and anybody else they can rally.
Have you been telling them things I've told you in confidence?
No. You may have a leakage somewhere.
Who's going to voice the opposition?
I am. My speech is listed as next after yours.
Well, I wouldn't if I were you. I'm quite prepared to make mincemeat of you in public as anyone else. You be careful you don't go up with the powder barrel you're trying to protect.
I think it looks super. Oh, Doc, wait, this is a very good one. Don't you think that would look absolutely fast? Don't try it on. Go on. Have you seen this? It's absolutely new. Isn't that great? Oh, God, you silly little girl. Oh, what do you think?
I think it's all absolutely terrifying. They're all so young, so arrogant.
How do you think you'd like to deal with them every day?
I think it'd be rather like pleading with a race of barbarians, not to overrun one.
Well, once you started making money, you'd learn almost to love them. Almost.
This is Kelp. Telephone.
Oh, thank you, Alan. Darling, just you sit there and bear it as best you can, and I'll close it all up and go and have a lovely drink and pick up Richard. Can't wait for you to meet him. It's a dish. Darling? You what? Now, darling, don't be so silly. We fixed this up yesterday. You didn't say anything then about having to go to... Oh, of course you must come. Now, who suddenly sprang it on you? Mr. Who? Oh, is that Max? Well, let me speak to him. Oh, darling, I can fix it for you. Well, let me speak to him. I see. Half an hour ago. That's strange. Max never leaves the office. Darling, you can drive up afterwards. Well, if you leave at 1, it doesn't take that long to get to Manchester. Darling, to hell with a good night's sleep. I know where you were last time you stood me up. Oh, Richard, please come. It's important to me. Oh, but you can catch the midnight train. Darling, couldn't you come just for a drink? Oh, darling, half an hour. What difference does that make? Oh, no, darling, don't ring off, please. What if I were to come over to the office? We could have just one drink. Just one.
What on earth are you doing here?
10 minutes.
Well, I didn't come to buy a mini-skirt.
So, Esther rang you and invited you out to dinner. Have you ever met her before?
No. She just said she knew I was a friend of yours, and would I care to make up a fool?
I see.
Well, it doesn't look as if there's going to be a dinner, does it? At least not for 4. Is she joining us?
I don't know. I think she's having a spot of, trouble.
Oh?
What else did she say?
About what?
Well, she must have mentioned something. It's not like Esther not to.
Well, she did suggest you were sort of, she didn't actually say anything, just
let you know that I was leaving John.
something like that.
And that this might be a good time for you to rush over as fast as you could. How thoughtful of her.
Are you?
What?
Leaving John?
I don't know. It's quite possible.
Good.
Why?
For quite obvious and selfish reasons.
I see.
Because I love you. Yes, I do.
Still?
Still.
Frank.
If you do leave him, would you come away with me?
Thank you. Oh, Frank. I'm very fond of him. But I won't be leaving him if I leave him, just to go away with somebody else. It's not that kind of situation at all. It's just, well, perhaps I want to find out whatever happened to me under all that welter of matrimony.
I see. So what will you do?
I don't know. That's the problem. I thought perhaps I might open an art gallery, get somebody who knows a little about it to go in with me.
At least I'll be able to come and see you. Perhaps buy a picture for my lonely flat.
Yes, of course you would.
Well, at least let me buy you dinner.
No, Frank. You see, I didn't go home last night, and I think perhaps I ought to get back and get things sorted out.
You're going home to see John?
Yes.
You won't leave him. You don't know how to start leaving him.
That's what Esther says. She says one should avoid the sane and adult discussion. But I think it's about time John and I had a sane and adult discussion.
This time next week, you'll be just as married to him as you ever were.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening, Charlotte.
Sir John rang, madam, to say he wouldn't be home tonight.
Why did you ring me?
Well, I told you I was passing by and I had nothing better to do, and I thought it might be a good opportunity to see some more of your paintings.
I see. Yeah, let me give you a drop.
Oh, thank you. And, I wanted to ask you about something else.
Oh? What's that?
Have you ever thought of opening a gallery?
Yes, who hasn't?
Would you really be interested?
Yes. Who's going to put up the money?
Well, I've been thinking of starting a little business.
Something to occupy your time?
Yes. And, of course, to make a little money.
The galleries don't often make money, you know.
Well, that wouldn't be immediately vital.
No? Oh, that's nice.
It would only be a small place.
Yes, well, naturally. But if you are thinking of opening a gallery, then you won't be buying one of my paintings just now, then.
Well, It is possible that I won't have anywhere to put it for the moment.
No? Well, that's all very interesting. Well, that's it then, is it?
All what?
All the business chat. We've done all that bit, have we?
Well, I should imagine there'll be more to discuss than that.
Yeah, sure, of course. Have you finished with this? Right, now we'll get down to what you really came round for, shall we? Now, come on, baby, don't let's have all this bourgeois chat. I'd love to go into a gallery with you if there is a gallery, but if there isn't, you know, why waste a lovely evening,
Look, I really did come round to ask you about opening a gallery.
And we will. Now, I tell you, look, if we sit down over here, we'll have a lovely view of all the artwork while we talk.
Why, you silly little boy.
Come on, don't let's have all that. You're not the first long-married lady who's been round here, you know. Suddenly, in the middle of the evening, nothing to do, why not phone up that bohemian young man, take a look at a few pictures, and who knows, maybe a little adventure. It's very strange. It's always about 9 o'clock at night. I don't know why. Maybe that's when their hubbies are whooping it up, like yours is, I bet. And women of that kind of age have always got hubbies who are whooping it up. That's when they come out to play. But I don't have to tell an intelligent and very attractive woman like you that, do I? Come on. Come on. I shouldn't think a woman has done that to a man since your generation.
Then it's an awful pity that your generation's had to cop the lot, isn't it? Good night.
Henderson. Pamela, hello, how are you? John, no, I'm afraid he isn't here. Did you want him? No, I'm afraid he's down at Brighton on this conference business. I suppose you'll get hold of him down there. Do you want a phone or go down, do you mean?
Susan?
What are you doing here?
I've come down to participate. What are you doing?
Well, Caswell brought me down.
To hear his glorious speech.
Well, what do you think of it?
Well, let us say I have my doubts.
Oh, it'll be interesting to hear what his son has to say in reply.
His son will have nothing to say in reply. I am.
Oh, I see. That's why you're down here.
I came down last night. Were you here last night?
No, we came down this morning. Well, it's a long time since I saw you. How are you?
Fine. I have exactly 12 minutes before I have to make my speech. Come on. I'll buy you a drink.
Seems to be our week for running into each other.
Yes.
I don't suppose you dashed all the way down here to see me, did you?
No. Matter of fact, I came to see John.
So you did have a sane and adult discussion?
No, he wasn't home. I thought I'd come down here. At least this has the advantage of being neutral ground.
What did I say? You'll still be just as married to him next week. Come on, I'll show you the conference hall.
Sir John Wilder, please. Would Sir John Wilder go to the conference chamber, please?
I couldn't get back any sooner. I had to make a speech. Is that where you were last night?
Out in the pale moonlight?
With him?
No. As a matter of fact, I spent the night with Esther.
Did you?
Well, you can ring and check.
Since he's your friend, it's quite obvious what she'd say to me.
All right. Is that where you were last night?
What do you mean by that?
With her?
I was in Brighton, alone.
That must have been a historic moment for that town.
Very funny.
Is it?
Have you imagined what you're going to do when you've left?
Yes, I have. That's the difficulty. There were several things I thought I might like to take up, but now I've decided that I don't want to after all.
You find it isn't easy.
Well, I've discovered that already.
Probably hang around with that Esther woman and live her sort of life, God help you.
Oh, dear, no, no. I've watched her trying to hang on to a man who obviously didn't want. I shall have to avoid that like the plague. I was also told by a young man that I was getting on a bit. As you say, it's not going to be easy. Come in. Shut up the case and take it to the car, will you please, Charlotte?
Yes, madam.
It's ridiculous.
Yes, isn't it? Like the four of us meeting like that. That was ridiculous, too.
I was not with her. We met by chance.
I wasn't with him. We met by chance, too. Rather seems to sum us up, doesn't it?
It would be a silly thing to break up a marriage because of a coincidence.
John, it's not. It's too much to go into now.
At least we could discuss it sanely and intelligently.
No. Apparently that I must not do.
All right. You're off out into the great big wide world all on your own, eh?
Yes. You know, it's rather like going off to get married.
Yes.
You're going to stay on here?
Yes?
Well, Charlotte will look after you.
Yes.
Just tell her anything you want her to get for you.
Pamela?
I've come to this point so often, and I've always avoided it for nothing.
Don't go.
I'll let you know where I am.
All right. Are you going to take this?
What?
This compact.
No.
At least you can always call and collect it. What are you going to do about the money?
Goodbye, John.